Welcome back. In the last video, we understood what is cross-validation technique, and in this notebook, we'll implement the same. We'll also see how it can be useful in finding the optimum model, or for now, the optimum value of k. So let's begin. We'll start with importing the essential libraries, pandas, numpy, and matplotlib. Then we'll read the dataset. This is again the cleaned version of the Titanic dataset that we have been using. Here's a look at the first few rows of the dataset. We can see no categorical variables and there are no missing values. Now we'll separate the dataset into independent and dependent variables represented by x and y respectively. Now before applying the KNN model, we'll scale the values. So we'll apply the standard scalar on x, which is all our independent features. Then we'll create a train and test set using the train test split. We are giving the input as x and y, which is our complete data, a random state, and stratify set to y. So let's run this cell. Now we'll import a KNN class, which we'll be using in this notebook. Now remember in the last video we understood that k-fold cross-validation technique can be used to check the consistency of the model. So in order to check that, we'll be using the cross-validation score function, and we'll first import this. Then in this function we'll pass the following values. We have KNN class with n neighbors set to 1, and then our train x and train y, and the number of folds here is set to 10. So this cross-val score will return an array of 10 values, which will consist the validation score for each of the folds. So let's see that. Here are the 10 values. Now the list by itself is not of much use, so we'll take the mean of these scores. Now if you think about it, higher mean would imply a better model. Why? Because we want that the model should perform well or get a higher score in each of these validation sets, right? So if each of these score is high, the overall mean would be high. Also, for checking the consistency of the model score should not vary much. So it should not be like for the first validation set it has 0.4 and for another validation set it has 0.98. So to check that, we can calculate the standard deviation of these scores. So in the next cell, we are calculating the mean and the standard deviation. And the mean here comes out to be 73, while the standard deviation is 7.2. Now remember, we have these values for the n neighbors is equals to 1. Let's try changing that. I'll make it 3. And now when I run these cells again, I see that the mean has improved to 77.2 and standard deviation dropped to 5.2. So n neighbors 3 is a better idea. Now manually checking the values could be a long process, so instead we'll automate this, and here's the function for the same. We are taking a list of n neighbors, and for each value in this list, we are calculating the score using the cross-val score function, and then the mean and standard deviation for this score. This mean and standard deviation obtained are then stored in a list, in an empty list that we have defined here. And this function will return this mean and standard deviation value. So let's run this cell. And now we can check for any values of n neighbors. So I'm here taking from 1 to 50 and calculating the mean and standard deviation. Now that we have the mean and standard deviation for 50 values, we'll plot these. So here's the plot. This is a plot for the mean values across all the n neighbors. So we can see the value from 0 to 50. And if you look closely, the mean score corresponding to low values of n neighbors is fairly low. That means the model is trained poorly and hasn't generalized over the validation sets. And if you see, the highest value of mean would be somewhere between 10 and 20 value of n neighbors. So we'll plot this mean curve again, and this time using only the n neighbors value from 10 to 20. So here is the plot. And now we can clearly see that the maximum value is at 14 and probably the second best is 12, right? But now the question is this model stable and consistent for all the validation sets? So to check that, let's look at the standard deviation for this model for n neighbors again between 10 to 20. Now here if we plot this, you will see that actually the standard deviation is quite low for the n neighbors 14 and so is for the value 12. Which means that at this value of n neighbors, the model has generalized pretty well. Also remember we created a test set initially. Note that we have not used the test set to find out the optimum value of k. that test set can be treated as a completely unseen data. Now let's look at the performance on the test set. So I'm going to here set the value of n neighbors to be 14. And if I check the performance, that's a really good score. So I see 81 on the train set and again 81 on the test. So it's 81.6 and 81.1 here. So we saw how cross-validation is implemented and it helped us in selecting the optimum value of k neighbors. Moreover, the model we selected was not lucky and was consistent with results, even generalized on the unseen data very well. So that's all for this video. Thank you.